And now to some other news. Policemen in Enugu State have arrested a 24-year-old suspect, Madwa Buchi Okonkwo, for allegedly possessing and transacting in counterfeit naira notes. The command's police Public Relations Officer Daniel Undukwe, who disclosed this in a statement posted on the command's Okonkwo of Umpologo and Mene Enugu at the old IMT bus stop at Abakaliki Road in the state. The suspect was arrested after he boarded a minibus and gave the driver one of the counterfeited notes. And while he scrutinized and observed that the currency was fake, thereby raising an alarm that led to the suspect's arrest. The statement also said during interrogation the suspect confessed to paying 25,000 naira for counterfeit notes with a face value of 50,000 naira. That's much on ATN socials. On Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X formerly Twitter, this on Tuesday in Lagos. He added that the state government is currently in discussions with the Ogun government to extend the Blue Rail further down to Agbara. Okusaga was on an inspection tour of the ongoing construction of the second phase of the Blue Line and expressed his satisfaction at the progress achieved so far and revealed ongoing discussions with the Ogun State government to extend the Blue Line further to Agbara. And I quote, "The project, which was awarded in 2023, is expected to be completed in 3 years. It will include 6 stations in Festac, Alakija, Trade Fair, Volkswagen, and Lasso. This phase covers 14 kilometers. He continued that there are also plans to construct a depot in Okoko Maiko, being used as armory by the Yoruba Nation agitators. The statement in Ibadan on Tuesday reiterated its commitment. Separatist Yoruba Nation agitators invaded the Oyo State Government Secretariat at Godi, Ibadan. According to reports, the agitators, donning army camouflage and armed with rifles, attempted to hoist their flag on the premises of the Oyo State House of Assembly. Analyst says celebrating with rifles live ammunition is illegal in Oyo State, involving individuals identified as the Yoruba Nation following activities of agitators who stormed the state secretariat with rifles and in celebration. Speaking on Atlantic blowout, a public affairs analyst Andy Akpotive said the act of the Jubilee with live ammunition was...
and they were shooting at the Nigerian military. Nigerian military, was returning, the gun power, fire for fire.
As it relates to the administration of justice, and admonished the nominees to use their appointment to promote peace and delivery of the uncompromising justice in their respective communities and areas of jurisdiction. He equally implored them to see their appointment as a responsibility toward the promotion of peace, rule of law, and deepening of good governance in their communities. Federal High Court sitting in Oshogbo, Osun State, has granted one Olalekon Oyeyemi, an appointee of the state governor Demola Adeleke, 50 million naira bail application with 2 sureties in like sum. The sureties, the judge said, must include a traditional ruler in the state and a level 17 civil servant or member of the National Assembly as second surety. This is coming after Oyeyemi, also known as Emir, who is a serving member of Osun Park Management System with others at large, is standing trial on a 10 count that included conspiracy, malicious damage, unlawful killing, and acts of terrorism. Had pleaded not guilty, while his counsel Edmond Biriomoni filed a formal bail application for his release. At the penultimate sitting on the matter held on Thursday, March 19, the presiding judge N. Ayo Emmanuel adjudged ruling on the bail application and counter application for Oyeyemi, popularly known as Emir, and told the parties that the date for the next sitting would be communicated to them. The judge subsequently returned Oyeyemi to Ilesha Correctional Center, where he has been held since his first appearance in court on February the 1st. Moving on now to Adamawa State, the government has urged parents and guardians to support the Governor Ahmadu Fintiri-led administration in tackling cases of insecurity in the state. The government said this had become imperative following the upsurge in attacks carried out by armed youth gangs in the state, popularly called Sheila Boys. Addressing journalists in Yola on Tuesday, the Adamawa Deputy Governor, Professor Kalitapwa Farauta Judge, said the government was working to deal with the security issues arising from the nefarious activities of the youth using dangerous weapons to dispossess residents of their valuables. Correspondent reports that youth armed with dangerous weapons, usually operating on commercial tricycles, popularly known as keke mawa, have been unleashing mayhem in several parts of the state. The police had last week apprehended a 19-year-old Usman Mohammed, said to be behind
the ocean to the land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
The Kano Electricity Distribution Company has concluded plans to invest 1.2 billion naira in network expansion and improvement in power supply to the famous Dawanau International Grains Market in Kano. This was contained in a statement by the head of corporate communications at KETCO, Sani Bala Sani, and made available to newsmen on Wednesday. He said the expansion and power generation are some of the company's major plans to improve power supply in an accelerated fashion, especially in areas such as Dawanau International Grains Market, being the largest in sub-Saharan Africa with numerous cottage industries. According to him, the company is prioritizing the Dawanau project amongst a string of similar projects due to its current dilapidated network, leaving the area undeserved. Operation Safe Haven, a special military task force maintaining peace, has denied allegation that its soldiers shot innocent civilians in the recent attacks in the Bokos local government area of Plateau State. The media officer of the operation, Major Samson Zakam, denied the allegation in a statement in Jos. This is coming after the coalition of Bokos ethnic youth nationalities had alleged that soldiers shot civilians and compounded the vulnerability of residents of the locality and called for the removal of the commander of OPSH Step-Up Headquarters 2 in Bokos, adding that the security agencies failed to question the recent killings in some communities of the council. However, the media officer described the allegation as unfounded, adding that it was aimed at tarnishing the image of the military and other security agencies in the state, while the claim by the group that security agencies deployed in Bokos had a confrontation with vigilantes was mischievous, insisting that the personnel were professional while repelling the attack. Responding, Major Zakam had condemned the group's demand seeking for the removal of the military commander in Bokos, describing it as malicious and aimed at dampening the morale of troops in carrying out their lawful duties. Kwara State Fire Service has attributed the late-night Sunday fire that destroyed the mini store of University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital's pharmacy to an explosion from an air conditioning system. The fire, which occurred on the last floor of Building 7, where the pharmacy's mini store was located, was contained to that area, sparing the rest of the two-story building, which houses 12 wards, a laboratory, and cash offices from significant damage. Head of Media and Publicity of the Kwara State, Funde, who confirmed the incident, said the absence of fire retardant materials and the combustible nature of the building's materials contributed to the escalation of the fire. And now to other news now. Jigawa State Government has warned the beneficiaries of the COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus against sabotaging the Objective Technical Advisor on Agriculture and Chairman NG Cares, Dr. Saifulahi Umar, who issued the warning while addressing some of the beneficiaries in Jahun local government area, who said the project was aimed at expanding access to livelihood support and food services. He also said the committee was constituted by Governor Umar Namadi to develop an equitable, transparent, and accessible process of beneficiary targeting, selection, and implementation monitoring, adding that in pursuit of fairness and accuracy, they adopted a rigorous and scientific methodology for beneficiary and community selection. He said the committees used multiple approaches in the selection of communities and beneficiaries beneficiaries consistent with approved guidelines of the NG Cares project, adding that 4,222 beneficiaries were selected from poor, vulnerable, hard-to-reach areas with little or no government presence for agricultural inputs and assets intervention. Umar therefore urged the beneficiaries to utilize the support wisely, fostering not just personal growth, but also contributing to the overall development of their communities, and commended the Jigawa State Government for the project and promised to utilize the support judiciously. Analyst has faulted the Nigerian justice system for its inability to uphold the discharge of its legal responsibility, especially concerning issues of urgent and immediate response. Speaking on Atlantic Society Watch, a public affairs analyst, Obarido Thompson, said the judicial system in the country is yet to be developed compared to other societies of the world.
We have a justice system that is still crude, very primitive. You know, we have all kinds of atrocities going on in this country, and people just turn a blind eye to it. Just like you analyzed, don't we have a commissioner of health in that state, in Borno State? Dr. James Korinjo has been kept in detention, and that's illegal, because they did not allow him to have bail. No matter the issue, bail is an option. He didn't murder someone. He only did what we call whistleblowing. So whistleblowing is not criminal.
Meanwhile, Obarido Thompson has tasked the government on the restructuring of the Nigerian justice system.
It is this life of impunity, this attitude of impunity in our country. You know, the justice system is still criminal and still crude, We shouldn't be doing this. We need to refine our system where if somebody does what you think is wrong, he's treated purely as a suspect. He's already been treated as a criminal.
Well, we want to sound it again that Dr. James Okonjo is in detention, and now that the family has called on the federal government and also the Medical Practitioners Association to...
This is coming after 70-year-old man Matthias Korinjo died of alleged heart attack following the unlawful detention of his son, Dr. James Korinjo, in Maiduguri, Borno State. You're watching Government and Public Service Reports here on Atlantic Television Network. Now the rest of the stories. Investigations have revealed that as more Boko Haram insurgents who surrendered their arms and ammunition to the government and renounced acts of terrorism and banditry continue to be reintegrated into the life of normalcy, there are big concerns that the females among them are increasingly finding it difficult to get male spouses. More findings indicate that even as the repentant terrorists are settled into their various home communities, the females among them have complained that since their return, it has been difficult for them to marry, as the law-abiding men in the society avoid them as a plague. This fresh concern gathered constitutes a matter of serious concern to the various community leaders. The report that official records puts the total number of surrendered insurgents and their families at 162,000, but no such records show the number of spinsters. Divorcee Consortium on Judicial Accountability has demanded the immediate resignation of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, over alleged abuse of office and favoritism in the discharge of his duties. The group, which claimed that its members are lawyers of public interest, expressed anger with the CJN over the appointment of his biological children as judicial officers in the recent appointments. At a protest staged at the road leading to the Supreme Court, the group accused the CJN of appointing his son Olukayode Ariwola Jr. as a judge of the Federal High Court, and also his daughter Oluwakemi Victoria Ariwola as a judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. The group also alleged that the CJN conferred undue advantages on his family by using the National Judicial Council, of which he is the chairman, to recommend the two children. The coordinator of the consortium, Martin Obono, demanded that the office of the CJN be unbundled to avoid being further abused. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was appointed new coordinator of Abuja Satellite Town Development Department of the Federal Capital Territory Administration. The Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory Administration made this known during swearing-in exercise in Abuja, while encouraging the appointees to be committed to his duties without crossing boundaries. He considered the appointment as an opportunity to contribute to...
Brief me as the minister. You are not sent there to just sit in your office and begin to negotiate with contractors. If I find out that, I will not hesitate to take necessary action.
The minister also said Mr. President's administration is at priority to develop all satellite towns in order to get the impact of government, and therefore urged the new appointee to note the key areas of duties to make sure dividends of democracy to the people.
This government is a priority to make sure that all the satellite towns get impact of government. As we are doing now, right away, there's a lot of projects going on in the satellite towns. So now that FCT is seriously involved in the satellite towns, make sure that things are done very well. Also, in the cleaning of the satellite town, let me just say clearly, that's an area of fraud. That's where there's a lot of fraud, because you don't even know whether they are cleaning the place. At the end of the month, they put in a paper to pay. The other day I was coming back from Kwale. I called the permanent secretary, area council. I said, look at the road, look at the whole refuse. If I didn't pass here now, by the end of the month, they will put paper, money, pay. So what we have done now was to make sure that all the area council chairmen are involved in vetting before payment is carried out.
During swearing in, the appointee pledged his allegiance to discharge his duties to the best of his ability, faithfully and in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law.
Swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the Federal Capital Territory Administration,
to the Federal Capital Territory Administration,
Federal Republic of Nigeria,
Federal Republic of Nigeria,
that as the
Coordinator Satellite Town Development Department
of the Federal Capital Territory
of the
Administration,
Federal Capital Territory
I will
Administration,
discharge my duties to the best of my ability,
I will discharge my duties to the best of my ability,
faithfully and in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law,
faithfully and in accordance with the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law,
and always in the interest of the sovereignty,
and always in the interest of the sovereignty,
integrity, solidarity, well-being,
and
prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Federal Capital Territory Administration,
well-being and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Federal Capital Territory Administration.
That I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives
That I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives
and directive principles of state policy contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will not allow my personal interest to influence my official conduct.
That I will not allow my personal interest to influence my official conduct
or my official decisions. That I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Mina High Court 4 in Niger State has ordered the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Court to pay 5 million naira to a Mina-based legal practitioner, Ifeanyi Chukwu Emmanuel Igwe, as damages over human rights violation. The presiding judge, Justice Mohammed, also awarded 200,000 naira as the cost of litigation and 5% monthly interest on the judgment sum. This is coming after Igwe had approached the High Court through his counsel, Bala Ibrahim Zuru, over the alleged violation of his fundamental human rights in the state. Respondents in the suit include the Commander General Abubakar Abdullahi Aoudi, the NSCDC headquarters, the state commandant of the Corps, Namadi Noura, as well as Henry Bauer. Mohammed held that the applicant is entitled to the right to dignity of human persons protected by Section 34, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic 1999, adding that the actions of the first and second defendants, as well as other agents of the third to the fourth defendants who allegedly kicked and beat the petitioner with sticks and faced inside the fourth defendant's state office located along David Mark Road, Mina, the state capital, among others, were violations to his human rights. The federal government has informed no fewer than 31 governors of the expected flooding in their states between April and November this year. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsev, stated this on Tuesday in Abuja while briefing journalists on the 2024 annual flood outlook for the country. At the event, the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, an agency of the federal government, disclosed that a total of 148 local government areas in Lagos, Kano, Delta, and 28 other states had been categorized as high flood risk areas. Preparing for the coming expectancies, operating at the ports have been consolidated in a single window. Yesterday, the President inaugurated a committee on the implementation of the National Single Window Project. The project, an electronic platform, is designed to simplify imports and exports at the nation's ports by eliminating all hiccups in goods clearing and exportation. All agencies and stakeholders involved in import and export processes are integrated into the NSWP for seamless trade operations. The federal government has initiated discussions with all the host states along the 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar coastal highway regarding the allocation of land for the establishment of economically sustainable towns along the route, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, has revealed. According to Umahi, the discussions are crucial as establishing economically sustainable towns along the road will allow nearby communities to fully harness the economic advantages of the coastal highway, considering one of the most pivotal projects in the work sector and a significant driver of the national economy. The first phase of the highway is to be completed within the 36 months. Dangote Petroleum Refinery yesterday announced a further reduction in the pump price of automotive gas oil, otherwise known as diesel, from 1,200 to 1,000 per liter. The company said in a statement that the latest slash will, I quote, positively affect all the spheres of the economy and ultimately reduce the high inflation rate in the country, end of quote. 3 weeks ago, the firm reduced the price of the product from about 1,600 per liter to 1,200. Moving on now, no fewer than 1.2 million young Nigerians will be in the first batch of those to benefit from the student loan scheme of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. The process of participating in the program, whose enabling law was signed by President Tinubu on April 3, will commence anytime soon, according to the Nigerian Education Loan Fund Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Akintunde Sawyer. The ambitious Cardinal program will be funded with 1% of the total annual collectible revenue bill inland revenue service. This year, the revenue target given to the FIRS is 19.4 trillion naira. And should the agency meet this projection, 194 billion naira will be available as a loan to the beneficiary students. Repayment, according to the law, will commence 2 years after the completion of the National Youth Service Corps. And now to other news. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has called on the police, particularly the Inspector General Kayode Egbetokun, sack bad officers from the force and pledged the full cooperation and support of the National Assembly for better policing of Nigeria. Akpabio, who disclosed this at the maiden edition of the Nigeria Police Awards and commendation ceremony in Abuja, commended the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, and the entire leadership of the Nigeria Police Force for organizing the event and urged them to use the occasion to celebrate the achievements of the Nigeria Police Force and to reiterate the commitment to working together for a safer and more secure Nigeria. He said the agenda focuses on internal ethical regeneration, restoration of professional standards, and the enhancement of the anti-corruption drive, adding that the ever-evolving landscape of crime and increasing sophistication of criminal gangs pose significant obstacles. Akpabio said the police force needs the support of all stakeholders in the nation for effective service delivery to overcome the challenges and build a stronger and more effective police force. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja has directed field commanders and troops to be adaptive and embrace innovation to ensure adversaries of the country are brought to their knees. He said the nation was in a more volatile and complex period than before, urging the commanders to be innovative and also implored them to restore peace and stability in areas experiencing security challenges across the nation. Speaking during the opening ceremony of the Chief of Army Staff Conference, Lagbaja said the troops and commanders must remain committed to their constitutional mandates of preservation of the nation's territorial integrity, safeguarding the lives and properties of loyal citizens, and upholding the principles of justice and equity and must be ready to take up more non-traditional military responsibilities. Lagbaja urged the troops and commanders to enhance their intelligence gathering and respect human rights while going about their duties. The Army Chief also said he has directed the Managing Director of Post-Service Housing Development Limited to set aside 5% of the affordable home ownership option for all soldiers scheme in each state for allocation to the wounded and disabled soldiers, adding that the program is aimed at alleviating the hardship soldiers face in securing personal accommodation for post-service life. And this is where we wrap it up on this edition of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network in Port Harcourt. I am Anwuli Akogo. Stay connected on our socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human
on the point of order.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
No agreement with the EU, but